Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 3196 AM. Today's date is October 25th, 2023, and the title of the episode is The Oldest Central Bank Needs a Bailout. The central bank is feeling the pain. Let's talk about your health. Did you know one of the leading reasons skin begins to sag or form wrinkles isn't necessarily because of old age, but because our bodies are missing out on essential collagen? You see, we produce 10% less collagen every decade once we hit 30, and that's a major reason behind those pesky wrinkles. Adding just a little collagen to your diet can have noticeable effects for your skin and youthfulness, preferably the sooner the better. That's why myself, along with tens of thousands of people, have turned to this cutting-edge new substance to help reduce visible lines of aging. It uses the top 5 most researched types of collagen, which is essential for skin health to support skin elasticity and skin hydration. These 5 collagen types are difficult to find on their own, but they're all included in every scoop. Just mix the serving with your favorite morning drink to give your skin the building blocks it needs to reignite a youthful glow. The best part I love is you get 53% off the rest of the month or until they sell out, whichever comes first. Plus, you'll also receive several additional gifts valued at over $500 free with every order for a limited time, including free VIP live health and fitness coaching for life, a free new ebook titled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and free shipping. Get yours now by going to healthwithx22.com. That is healthwithx22.com, or click the link in the description. You won't regret it. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, the private West Central Bank, the World Economic Forum, as they push their Green New Deal, their Great Reset, what do you think is happening? It's hurting the entire world, but who is it hurting especially? Governments around the world, central banks around the world. Remember, they want to bring us into the Great Reset, the Green New Deal. They need to destroy their old system. To destroy their old system, they need to destroy everything around it. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now, which means the system that they set up, going all the way back to 1913, yes, they manipulated it and they morphed it into something different where we went on full fiat. But that system needs to be removed, which means the old central bank system needs to be removed. The way they have the fiat currency set up today needs to be removed. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And we're also seeing that the central banks, they are in trouble. Remember, the pieces of paper that say Federal Reserve note on it, they're worth absolutely nothing. If they were, the central banks become, don't worry, we got tons of them. We're not bankrupt. We don't need anything. And that's not how it works. And you could tell it doesn't work that way because this is why they've been purchasing gold. Because why would they purchase gold if the pieces of paper are the actual money? It makes no sense, does it? They know, and they've kept this from the people of the world for a very long time, that what they're doing, that pieces of paper that people are trading back and forth, it's worth absolutely nothing, and they know it. Otherwise, they would print a whole bunch of it, and they would just leave it in their vaults and say, we got plenty. We don't have to worry about it. But they know for a fact that it's worth absolutely nothing. So what they're going to do is they're going to destroy their entire system. They're going to destroy everything. And I think Trump and the Patriots, they're hoping they destroy every single part of their system. Remember, they're the ones who are going to destroy their system. They're going to become very, very weak. The only way they're powerful is if the people and the governments around the world go along with their plan. Because when the crisis hits and the governments and the people decide, you know something, we're going to go in a completely different direction. We're going to use a different currency. What power do they have? They can't put people into debt. They don't have control of the currency. They lost all of their power. And I do believe Trump and the Patriots, they're waiting for these individuals to destroy their old system where they're the weakest, and we can then come in and take over. And I do believe this is exactly what's going to happen. And you can see the old system is completely and utterly falling apart. If you look at what's happening with the luxury goods, you can see that the earnings have come in and it doesn't look good for luxury goods. Genevieve Roque-Decter put this out on X and said, the consumer is in excellent shape. Me checking sales of luxury goods. Gucci down 7%. Yves Saint Laurent down 12%. Bottega Veneta down 7%. Balenciaga, Alexander McQueen down 15%. Now, this is what the wealthy purchase. They go out, not just the wealthy, but most people that like to put it on their credit card, they go out and they purchase these items. If these items are down, then what's happening with other stores? You see, if your currency isn't going as far and you're having a very difficult time purchasing items to survive, then we have a major problem here. And actually, Genevieve Roque-Decter continued and said, consumer spending is on the decline for the first time in a decade as inflation pushes prices higher and retailers struggle to continue offering bargains. And this is coming from Walmart's former U.S. CEO. So you could see it's not just luxury goods, but everything is starting to fall apart. And I do believe during this holiday season, we're going to see stores probably shut down in February or so because they're not going to be able to make the sales like they've done in the past. Because if people don't have the currency to purchase the items, the people are going to say, you know something, this year we just can't do what we did the other couple of years. And we're going to have to rein it all in. And we're just going to purchase a few items, and those are going to be the gifts. And the rest, we don't care. And the stores, they're going to feel the pain because remember, they ordered all their products. They stocked up. They put their orders in a long time ago when they thought, oh, the economy looks pretty good. Now, here we are at the end of the year, and it's not looking that great because what are people paying for? They're paying much higher prices on fuel and food. And when you look at beef prices are at a record high, and it looks like beef is going to go even higher. Now, they're blaming this on the shrinking cattle supply, as well as higher input costs. And we could see that everything's getting much, much more expensive. And to feed the cattle, to ship the cattle, to do all these things, it's costing a lot more money. And this is not just with beef, but it's with many, many products right now. And people, they're going to see this deteriorate as time goes on. Now, I do believe as we go into 2024, as Biden continually tells us that everything is fine, the job market is incredible, inflation is a figment of your imagination, it's not really happening. Well, I think the people are going to realize that they're completely lying to them because when you're out there and you're living it every single day, no matter what these individuals tell you, no matter what the fake news tells you, no matter what the Fed tells you, no matter what Biden tells you or the White House press secretary, you know that they are lying right to your face. And it looks like the banks, they might be in trouble because everything completely implodes and everything starts to fall apart, the banks are going to be in trouble. And it's starting to seem that they are going to have a very difficult time as we move through 2024, especially once we enter a depression. I do believe we're already in a recession. We're going towards a great recession, which is going to lead to a depression. And I do believe the market most likely will probably end up coming down, most likely around October or so. Let's talk about your health. Did you know one of the leading reasons skin begins to sag or form wrinkles isn't necessarily because of old age, but because our bodies are missing out on essential collagen? You see, we produce 10% less collagen every decade once we hit 30, and that's a major reason behind those pesky wrinkles. Adding just a little collagen to your diet can have noticeable effects for your skin and youthfulness, preferably the sooner the better. That's why myself, along with tens of thousands of people, have turned to this cutting-edge new substance to help reduce visible lines of aging. It uses the top 5 most researched types of collagen, which is essential for skin health to support skin elasticity and skin hydration. These 5 collagen types are difficult to find on their own, but they're all included in every scoop. Just mix the serving with your favorite morning drink to give your skin the building blocks it needs to reignite a youthful glow. The best part I love is you get 53% off the rest of the month or until they sell out, whichever comes first. Plus, you'll also receive several additional gifts valued at over $500 free with every order for a limited time, including free VIP live health and fitness coaching for life, a free new ebook titled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and free shipping. Get yours now by going to healthwithx22.com. That is healthwithx22.com, or click the link in the description. You won't regret it. And this is going to be a complete and utter disaster because remember, everything leading up to this, the Fed, Biden, and the rest, they're going to tell you we got things under control. Yes, we still have some problems, but it's still going to be okay. Biden's going to tell you that everything is fantastic. Don't worry about it. But I do believe in the end, this is going to completely backfire on all of them. And Trump, he's going to continually come out and tell everyone, no, we're heading towards a depression. The economy's not getting better. And in the end, he's going to win the people over. Unusual Whales put this out on X and said the following: U.S. banks could be grappling with at least $650 billion of unrealized losses in their securities portfolio. And this is an estimate coming from Moody's. So this does not look good whatsoever. And we can see that banks right now, they are closing branches around the U.S. Now, number one, they're closing branches because they want everyone to do banking online. Number two, They're going to be trying to move us into the central bank digital currency, which is going to completely fail, just like they tried to move us into the vaccine passport. But they're going to try all of this out in other areas like Australia, New Zealand, UK, just like they tried the vaccine passports. And we can see they're doing exactly that. Remember, Australia, they had the COVID camps. They had the vaccine passport. They pushed everything out there first. They're doing the same exact thing with the central bank digital currency. E put this out on X and said the following: Australia is the first Western nation to go completely cashless at major banks. World Economic Forum experiments on their plans for USA and EU ahead of 2024 elections. And that's exactly what they're doing. They want to see how this all plays out in Australia. Then they'll move it to New Zealand. Then they'll move it to the UK. They'll try to spread it throughout Europe. And what's going to happen? Well, they'll try to push it here in the United States, but it's going to completely fail, just like everything else. And remember, we have bills that are doing actually the opposite of what they really want. They really want a central bank digital currency, but the Patriots now that have now taken over the House, which are now controlling the House, they're never going to allow this to happen. In the past, the D's had control, the Rhinos had control, but everything is changed. And I do believe this was done at the exact moment in time, because as we enter 2024, we needed, and I'm talking about we the people, we needed to have control. So when they try to push all of this, when the entire economic system falls apart, we have people in there fighting against it. And I do believe this is exactly what's going to happen. And remember, getting rid of cash is the first step to a central bank digital currency. And you can see they're going to do this. They're doing it right out in Australia. They tried this before. They did this out in Australia with COVID. But I do believe in the end, this is going to completely fail on them. Now, the other thing that's very interesting is that we know that around the world, the private was the central banks, they control pretty much the creation of currency, the interest rates, and everything else. This is their illusionary economy. So they can pretty much control everything. And out in Sweden, we can see that their central bank, Riksbank, they're having a bit of a problem. Right now, they're showing that they're insolvent, needs capital injection of at least $80 billion or just over $7 billion. And this is a complete and utter disaster, and it looks like the central banks are feeling the pain. And I do believe if you're going to bring down the system, you allow your enemy to do what they do best. You see, when they think they're in control and they think that, hey, we can bring everyone into the Great Reset, the Green New Deal, and everyone is going to be convinced that this is the right direction, you allow them to do what they always do. They destroy their old system and they bring us into a new system. But if you have countermeasures in place and you know this is their playbook, you can counter all of this and you can have the people watch all of this in real time. And as people watch this in real time, the people can say, you know something, I see what you're doing. This is something that we don't want. And wait until you see what happens when the people in Australia, the people in New Zealand, the people in UK, the people in Europe, as they're being experimented on, and I'm talking about the central bank, no cash, as they feel this and as people see this, the people are going to go, you know something, this is something we don't want. This is what happened during COVID. People started to look at the COVID camps. They saw people being round up, they were put into these camps. They had to have vaccine passports. And the people of this country saying, this is something that we do not want. Many countries were saying, this does not look good whatsoever. Wait until you see when people get out of hand and they have no cash and they're relying on the central bank digital currency. You're going to see the central banks freeze accounts, shut down accounts, and they're going to actually explain to you that this is okay because they could be a criminal. We have to investigate first. This is how they're going to do it. Because in those countries, they can manipulate everything because they don't have the same constitution as us. Because if they don't have the same constitution, what can you do? Well, we're going to have to freeze their account because we suspect something and they're not innocent right now. They are guilty first, and then we'll see if they're innocent. And this is how it's going to work. I mean, just take a look at Canada. When the people were protesting and they were out there saying that they didn't like what their government was doing, what did their government do? They froze their accounts. Now, did they commit a crime? Did they do something wrong? Absolutely not. They wanted the people to stop protesting. They didn't like it. In this country, we have the right to protest. And even though the deep state players try to stop us, our Constitution allows us to do it. Now, this doesn't mean a tyrannical government won't try to stop you. Of course they will. But in the end, what happens? We, the people, always win out. But in other countries, I do believe as we go through 2024 and we see the experiment in Australia, people are going to see the truth of the matter. And I think this is absolutely one way of allowing the entire world to see the truth. Because remember, the central banks, the World Economic Forum, they never expected the people to be awake and actually seeing this all play out. Now that people can see this all play out, the people aren't going to go along with this. They weren't really going to have this experiment in Australia and do all this. Remember, they wanted everyone afraid. They wanted destruction. They wanted everyone not looking at any of this, and they were just going to implement it. The same thing with COVID. They wanted to do this while everyone was, in their home, afraid, and the fake news would be in control and everything would be breaking down. Or they wanted to do this while we're having war. This way, no one would know that they were doing this. But now they have to do this out in the open, and they have to show the people exactly what they're trying to do here, which means the people aren't going to go along with this. See, they never expected it to be this way. And I do believe Trump and the Patriots, they set it up this way so you could see exactly what was going on. And you can look and watch and observe and say, you know something? This is something we definitely don't want. And I think the people of the world, they are going to be rising up. The people of the world are going to say absolutely not, just like they did with the vaccine passports. Why do you think you had all these protests in the street? You think the people aren't going to protest over the central bank digital currency and full and utter control of what they can do in regards to spending? I mean, really think about this for a second. And this won't be Democrat, Republican, or whatever other party side you're on in other countries. This is going to affect everyone the same exact way, which means the people are going to push back like we've never seen before. And what's happening right now is the World Economic Forum, the central bank, they are feeling the pain every step of the way. And as they continue down this path and they show the people more and more and more, well, it's not helping them. It's actually hurting them because the people can see the truth. And in the end, the people are going to make the final decision. Listen, everyone.